Check. Oh, there we go. That's why. And I might get you to just turn the music down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's still good with a little bit of it on, but yeah, just... Yeah, that's perfect. Cool.
There we go.
Hi everybody, welcome to the class this morning. Sorry we're going a little bit late. It's always that kind of case. We're going to start warming up our shoulders and scapula. Equipment, hopefully you've seen on the board that we need a box or some kind of elevated position. You can use a chair or a stool if you like. We'll need a small weight. That can be anywhere between 2 kilos to 5 kilos. It doesn't need to be too big. And then we'll need a band. Hopefully you can go collect that equipment and then that's all ready for you. The first exercise we're going to do is a very gentle and easy one, warming up our shoulders. I'm going to come down into a tabletop position and I'm going to go through rolling my shoulders backwards and forwards. And I want to aim to get somewhere probably between 10 rolls forward, a slight movement in my back, going around into 10 rolls backwards, or I think the opposite way, 10 rolls backwards, 10 rolls forwards. Try to lock your arms here, press into the ground, arms are straight, and try not to exaggerate your head position by shooting it lower and down. Try to maintain a neutral head position, and all of the movement is just in your scapula and your shoulders. Hopefully, as I always say during these online classes, you've done some kind of warm-up or some kind of work that's particular to you. So for example, if you know you have tight hips or tight hamstrings, you've warmed those up. If you know that you need to work on your overhead position, you get your hanging in. If you know that you need to do wrist drills, even though we do them in class, doing extra reps is always important. Speaking of wrist drills, we're going to start those now. So we're going to do 30 palm raises. Again, locking out my arms, driving or pressing into the floor. My knuckles remain in contact while my fingers are touching the floor and my palms are raising off the floor. And do this about 30 times. Raising up, pushing into the floor. Active through my shoulders and through my arms. Last 10. Cool. So hopefully your forearms feel a little bit activated. We're going to turn our hands to the back of our hands for our fin push-ups. So pressing the back of our hands into the floor, we want our forearms to go out to the sides and either our chin or our forehead down to touch the floor. Do this between 20 to 30 times, aiming to lock out your arms at the top and still be active through the shoulders. Three, two, one. Good. We're going to grab our band now, and I hope I don't whip the mic in any way. Taking our band, putting it behind our back. We're going to be moving in a protraction position, pushing forward, flying forward. I let the band give me a little stretch at the back of my shoulders when it comes back, and then drive forward, push my shoulders forward. We're going to do this about 10 to 15 times. So you may start, allow the band to come back, give you a stretch in the shoulders, drive your hands forward. Cool. From here, we're going to move into dislocates using the band. Because the band's a little bit easier, I often get people to challenge themselves just by moving their hands in slightly closer, maybe a centimeter on each side from where you were before. Our aim is to push out, around the body, all the way over, back over again, and trying to minimize our head movement position in order to get our arms around our body. So pushing up, out, around and over, and we'll do this between 10 to 15 times. If you find that over the reps you're able to move your hands in a little bit more, increase the demand of the stretch in your shoulders, I encourage you to move it in little bit by little bit and keep thinking about pushing out and around the body. Cool. From here, we're going to do retraction. So we started with protraction of the band. Now we're going to do retraction. So we're going to pull the band apart. We're trying to pinch our shoulder blades together at the back. And we're going to do a band pull apart about 10, 15 times. So pinching and retracting your shoulder blades. Hopefully I don't hit the mic. And let the band pull your hands forward so that you can get that elastic feeling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Band overhead, and now we're going to work with depression. So I'm going to pull down and then let the band elevate my shoulders back overhead. And we'll do this between 10 to 15 times as well. Try and really let the band shrug your shoulders up nice and high. Good. 15 reps. Cool. And then just popping our band down to the side. Excuse me. Okay. Next exercise we'll do is the straddle pike bounce. So I want our feet fairly wide and out to the side. We're going to hold on to our forearms. We're aiming to try and hinge or fold at the waist so that we get a nice deep stretch through the back of our legs. Looking something like this. I want to ideally aim not to shoot my bum back, but to stay over my legs and then fold forward. So the difference being my legs are straight here, and the difference there, they're behind my body. So I'm using my feet, they're actively pressing the side of my feet into the floor. You're going to bounce here for about 30 to 40 pulses, trying to use your breath to encourage further range. So breathing out on your bounces down. Maybe you're up here a little bit higher. Try to really aim for straightening your legs. So locking them out, pressing them into the floor, and then bouncing down. If you can put your hands on the floor, you can kind of bend your elbows and give yourself a little bit of a push further down, but you should want to try and feel like your stomach is coming in between your thighs towards your groin. Maybe another 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Cool. Coming up, little dance, bringing our legs in. And then we're going to go back to the shoulder rolls or the scapular rolls that we did at the start. And we're going to do 10 in the one direction. And then we're going to reverse that direction so you can pick either forward or backwards to begin with. So going around, looking my arms out, drawing big circles. If there's a little bit of movement in the spine, that's more than okay. But really try to build a little bit of awareness with the full range of motion that your scapula and your shoulders have. So they can go forwards, they can go backwards, they can go up, and they can go down. Also known as protraction, retraction, elevation, and depression. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then reversing that direction. One thing is I'm going quite slow in this as well. I'm not trying to rush through the reps. The rep range is rather irrelevant. It's more about getting control and awareness. Cool. I'm just going to pop my jumper off and we'll continue. All right, so we're going to do 4 exercises. One of them is a stretch for our overhead position. One of them is a body drill lying on the floor. The third one is another lying on our back. And then the 4th exercise is a wall walk. We should be fairly familiar with them. With the trilat stretch, I'm going to put my forearms against the wall and my fingertips together like this. My aim is to push into the wall and try and stretch my lats here by pressing my chest down and caving inwards and seeing that big bend in my spine here. Pressing the wall, lifting my lats, we'll get that nice stretch in my back. And we're going to hold that for about 40 seconds. So Gary's going to have a timer ready. Hold my fingertips together in a pyramid position. My forearms are going to be against the wall. I sort of want my hands about eye height. Good, and I'm going to press into the wall, and Gary, you can start. And I'm going to duck my head down, but really my chest is leading this stretch somewhat. And I'm actively pressing into the wall, elevating through my shoulders, looking at the wall with my eyes at least, and sinking my chest lower. Try not to think too much about your head driving towards the floor, it's more of your chest. And try to really press your fingertips together. This is known as external rotation. But, beautiful. Cool. Our second exercise, we're going to be lying on our stomach on the floor. It's almost like a little bit of a reverse hollow body. It's a front body line drill. I'll demonstrate first and then we'll hold together for 20 seconds. I want to be nice and relaxed on the floor. Arms out in front, feet together. And what I'm aiming to do is the same kind of sensation that we did against the wall, which is pressing into the floor and rotating my armpits or arms down to the floor. And then I'm going to try and make a small cavern inside my shoulders or inside my chest, lifting my chest off the ground and holding this active position for about 20 seconds. So I'm in a completely comfortable position to begin with. And then I'm going to lift my chest up and tuck my head inside my body. We're going to hold that for 20 seconds. So get yourself ready, and then Gary, when you're ready.
3, 2, 1.
Cool. Cool. And then gently lowering yourself back. So the sensation should be that you're trying to push the floor away in your fingertips while also trying to rotate down, similar to the position in the wall that we were just doing. Next one, we're going to lie on our back. Hopefully you've got your small weight. It doesn't have to be too heavy. It's because it's at the end of our body, our lever point is quite a far way away, so any kind of weight will really assist our shoulders in this position. We're going to put our hands under the weight. We're going to aim to have our back with as much contact in the floor as possible and remain with as much contact as possible. So I don't want my stomach to come away to create that hole there. I want to keep my stomach down, nice and flat. I'm going to press my hands high above me, as high as possible. And then from here, just slightly lift off the ground and rotate my arms inward, as if I'm trying to open into it. and we're going to pulse here for about 10 reps. And so that weight at the end of your hands should be quite dramatic because of how far away it is from our body, which is why we don't need it to be very heavy. I should be trying to push my shoulders right up near my ears and then rotating my arms into the upward towards the roof, and then just pulsing about 10 times here. 3, 2, 1, and then resting the weight. So that's kind of like this active position above our body, just working in this end range there. Cool. Last exercise we're going to do in this block is a wall walk. You can do 2 of those reasonably quickly. Doesn't have to be too strenuous for your work. So I'll demonstrate 2 now. What I would like though is that you're focusing as much as you can on controlled elevation and locking out your arms. That's going to be the focus for today. And trying not to bow or bend in your back. So we're going to do 2 wall walks up the wall now. Cool. Walking up the wall, pressing nice and tall, holding for a second, walking back down. Taking a little rest here, and then getting ready to go back up for our second rep. Cool. So that's the block that we're going to do for another 3 to 4 rounds, depending on time. As you can see, there's a lot of mobility in that, and then there's a little bit of active strength in there as well. That will be very helpful for us later on when we work in a larger strength block, so don't worry too much about exerting yourself. Try to focus on the stretch and the mobility positions that we're trying to achieve here. So we're going to go back to our trilat stretch. Gary is going to count us in for 40 seconds. So fingers together, making somewhat of a triangle pyramid position. I'm aiming to externally rotate into the wall, bring my arms inwards like this, and press my chest towards the floor. Cool, thanks Gary.
I have to shout because the mic's open.
I realize that now, that no one's really, I'm not sure who is able to hear this or not, but yeah, Gary's having to shout. You could probably see the bar move when you shout though. I feel like it'll pick up me breathing heavy as well as you shouting though, so maybe the mic is sensitive enough.
5 seconds to go.
Well, at least there's entertainment value. We just have a mic hanging from the ceiling, sort of like a Motown recording session. And then, just, have harmonies going.
Right at the beginning, it just slowly goes down.
Comes down like the wrestling mic. In this corner, we have Gary, the 2-ton timer technique master. Now I'm getting a little bit beyond myself. All right, so now we're going to return to the front body line drill. This is where our hands are extended out in front of us, and we're aiming to lift our chest off the floor and then tuck our head inside our shoulders. So they should be pushing nice and tall above us. We're going to hold this for 20 seconds again. So I'm going to get nice and comfortable on the floor before I start. Take a couple of breaths, and then when Gary's ready.
Yep. 3, 2, 1, go. 3, 2, 1.
Cool. Awesome. All right. From here, we're going to turn over onto our back and do our overhead pulses with our small weight. Again, you're trying to push as tall as possible. We're still working with that external rotation, so trying to bring our armpits towards the roof and keep our back as flat as possible. We're going to complete 10 reps of this, nice and slow, trying to feel that resistance maybe at the end of our shoulders. Mine is quite low towards the ground, but perhaps your position might be quite a bit higher, depending on where your lack of range of motion is, where you feel that resistance, the weight in your hands and your shoulders, and really just try and pulse and bounce there in order to slowly open up that range. Awesome. Hopefully you've completed that, or when you have, move over to the wall and complete 2 wall walks. I'm going to pop the mic down here to the side to do my wall walks now. Whoops, dropped the mic. All right, we're going to go back to our tri-lat stretch. So making a pyramid. Gary's going to count us for 40 seconds. I'm going to leave the mic in the middle of the room so we can keep working through these reps at a good pace. Thanks, Gary.
All right, 3, 2, 1. 5 seconds. 2, 1.
I'm loving Gary's enthusiasm. Barking at me like a boot camp coach. That's what I need. Oh, well.
Pretty much that Russian everything, right?
Everything
Yeah.
Russian. All right, so then we're going to go back to our front body line drill. So our hands are extended out in front of us. We're going to try and lift our chest off the floor and then tuck our head inside our shoulders, sort of making a little cavern, very similar to the handstand position against the wall. So getting yourself nice and comfortable. Gary counting us for 20 seconds.
Yep. And 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. Turning around onto our back, going into our lying overhead pulses, so getting our weight. Again, trying to keep our back as flat to the floor as possible in this. And like I said, your range is going to be particular to you, but I want your shoulders and your head and your spine and your lower torso to be completely fat against the ground wherever you're pulsing and elevating overhead. So it may be quite a bit higher for you. It may be nice and low, but we're working towards getting it towards the ground comfortably in an active, elevated overhead position. So doing your 10 or so reps, feeling that range, small bounces and pulses using the weight. Awesome, and then returning to the wall for another 2 wall walks. If you need to take a quick drink, grab one now. You can make the wall walks as quick or as slow as you like, depending on your fatigue at this point. Awesome, and we're going to repeat one more round without the wall walks this time, so just the trilat stretch, the front body line drill, and the lying overhead pulses. So we're going to head to the wall, make the pyramid or the triangle with our hands, and get ready for another 40-second hold. Hi. I did watch a class and sort of Macy had hers on a jumper.
Yeah.
And there's lots of scratchiness with the jumper getting into wear, so I think I try and avoid it having on my clothing as much as possible.
Yeah. Well, like you did previously, is sometimes it's best to put them like you
A
pinch.
little bit away.
You pinch the clothing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Alright, you ready for the 40-second hold, Gary?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Certainly starting to feel it all in my shoulders and my arms now. Hopefully you're still with me, surviving, not dying. All right, we're going to our body line drill, so lying on the floor. And then Gary, count us in for 20 seconds.
Yep. All right, in 3, 2, 1. And back down in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, beautiful instructions, Gary. Awesome. Turning over, doing our lying overhead pulses. This will be the last round of it, so take your time. Really try to feel the resistance in maintaining the posture that we're trying to get here, which is ideally elevated, straight and overhead, but it may be limited. So really allow that the resistance of the weight to stretch that. Try to avoid dropping your shoulders or bending your arms or flaring your shoulders out to compensate range. Especially now we're on our last rep, we should slightly be getting a little bit further and further into that overhead position. So complete 10 reps in your own time, please. Awesome. Grabbing a drink and, if you need to, wiping your face. We're going to move on to using a box now. You can leave the mat out. We'll still use the mat. So the focus for this next exercise is we're going to accumulate strength, volume in our overhead position, but we're going to do it in a way that is slightly regressed so we can work on the position more so than just trying to work on the strength. So what typically ends up happening is as we work with strength in our handstand position or our overhead position, we start to fatigue a little bit. And in that fatigue, our position starts to be compromised. So what we're going to do is reduce the difficulty of the movement by using a box for our knees to be on, but aiming to try and remain in this lockout elevation position or elevation lockout position. And we're going to hold that for about 20 seconds. We're then going to pair that with a nice cat stretch for our shoulders, and then we have a 1 minute rest. Now the idea with this workout is because we're doing it on our knees, and you can also scale the box or the elevation height to be higher, making a little bit closer towards a handstand, or a little bit lower to give you a little bit more ease into it so that you can finish and complete all of the rounds. But we're going to aim to get 9 rounds. And what that is going to equate to is almost 3 minutes in a full lockout position in our handstand or in our handstand development. So I'll show you what I mean by being able to scale the position, which is really nice. So if I come over to the box, and like I said, you can use a chair or a stool if you'd like. So the ideal position is getting reasonably close to the box, but working on that full lockout position of my shoulders, squeezing my hands into the floor, and then also wrapping my armpits towards the box, also known as external rotation. Now, if the first few rounds are a bit challenging, to make it a little bit easier, we just lower the elevation point, and I just have my hands a little bit further away from the box, but still maintaining that elevation and that tuck inside my shoulders. Okay? Because we're going to be doing 9 rounds, really try to make use of the 1 minute rest period. So try and let your arms come down, be natural, and give them a little bit of rest. But the idea is that, yeah, we complete almost about 3 rounds in this lockout position, whereas if we were doing this against the wall and trying to complete 3 rounds or perhaps 6 30-second rounds, we might start to lose that position that we're ideally trying to focus on today. So today's a little bit more of a position focus for strength instead of just organic strength that you build up against the wall for longer periods of time. So Gary's going to be our timer. So I might even actually give you the mic so that you can count and then let us know.
Howdy.
Instructions. Gary also in the picture with Macy and Co. All right, so we're going to start our first round in 20 seconds, Gary.
All right, get into position and in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I feel like maybe I should just cut out Dexter's face and then,
change it with yours.
well, reposition my live face into his face. All right, 3, 2, 1.
I've replaced you, Dexter. Cool. And then coming into a more passive cat stretch or creature stretch. And then just stretching your arms.
Right,
We're going
so
to hold this for about 40 seconds.
into a cat stretch starting now. Looking perfect.
Get the claws as well.
I don't forget the claws. All right, 3, 2, 1. And into the minute stretch, minute rest. You can stretch more.
Yeah. And yeah, certainly the cat stretch can be a little, oh sorry, it's meant to be 30 seconds, I just realized.
It's all right, we'll stop at 30 seconds.
Yeah. Next one will be 30 seconds. We're getting a little bit extra on that one. But yeah, definitely during the cat stretch, focus on breathing. So returning to a more passive breath, controlled and relaxed. And then when we go back into the strength position, aiming to really exert as much energy to try and exaggerate that handstand control.
All right, back into our elevation lockout.
Cool.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Holding it, flat back, 5 seconds to go. 3, 2, 1. All right, meow. Cat stretch starting now. Halfway there. All right, 3, 2, 1. So 30 seconds rest.
Our 1 minute rest still.
1 minute.
But the cat stretch is just 30 seconds. I think I said 40 seconds. Okay.
Got it.
Right there. And I think when we did this last time, we got a lot of feedback that people's shoulders were quite sore and they were quite fatigued. So yeah, definitely make use of the rest period to try and relax your shoulders, and also scale it back if you need. So lowering the box as we move through the round.
Yeah, so just to reiterate, so basically, yeah, just make sure you fully take the rest period by stretching out as much as you can, relaxing your shoulders, moving them about. And yeah, if you need to lower the elevation of the box, do so. All right, we're going to go back into our elevation lockout. 20 seconds. And that is starting in 3, 2, 1. The rain is coming back in. Not actually inside, but all right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. At least the mic doesn't pick up the rain too much. All right, cat stretch. Starting now. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Good.
Where are your feet coming from? Trying to remember which feet is it? The top feet or the bottom feet? Again, a little ding.
Oh no, that's just actually Matt's Facebook, but it doesn't.
Oh.
Yeah, unless the mic picks it up, it doesn't.
I can see it now. It's tough.
Yeah.
Todd. Todd. Let's see.
Let me close that.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, it doesn't come through the actual system, but if it picks up on the mic, they'll be able to hear it.
That's right.
Yeah, I muted that. That way the music doesn't come through, but we can listen to music.
It is nice to have that little
Beat in the background.
So it's I think that was our third round, so maybe it's our fourth round.
Yeah, yeah, because you did the first one with the mic, and then I've done 2.
Sure.
Alright, so getting back into our lockout evaluation. Evaluation lockout. Oh my god, getting it wrong. Alright, go. I had to do it quick because Corey is already up in position. Unless we want to make him do it a bit longer.
Much harder.
Make the coach suffer. Right, 3, 2, 1. And diving back into our cat stretch, starting now. Ten more seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Very good. That's perfect. I think you sort of try around about and take 10 and 12 on the side of that.
Oh look, Maisie's here. Any comments?
I did watch you, but I was going to comment. You woke up.
Okay, we just got a lot of sarcastic comments from Maisie right there about do better. You're awake, you're alive.
I feel like she's pretty brave. You're making sarcastic comments in a lime sweater.
This is everything. You can see me. I'm present.
We do have the live stream on if you want to just slightly walk on and say hi.
More color in your eye.
You say that and you listen to the most emo music ever. Oh yeah, good position. Alright, number 5. Everybody's in now.
Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1. 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Alright, I'm diving back into the old cat stretchy and starting. seconds. 3, 2, 1.
Down.
A few more,
Yep.
and plus an extra one more to go.
I think you can also let them know, like if they are getting fatigued, I'm going to demonstrate this round at a more regress, so I'll be a little bit further away from the box to demonstrate if people are getting too tired, how to maintain the position.
Yep, so if anyone's getting fatigued, Corey's is about to show just a regress position, pose, yeah, position. So you don't have to go all the way to the box, you can also just come further away, and that's going to...
Yeah, and that's going to be a little bit less demanding because you're loading further out rather than vertically.
Yeah.
So if people want to do that, or they can move the box lower. That's the option they have.
Yeah, you can either move the box lower or just move away from the box, lowering your weight. All right, let's go back into it. 3, 2, 1. Five seconds. 3, 2, 1. And then into the cat stretch. All right, starting. Ten more seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Cool, 6 down, 3 to go.
Is that their homework?
I was going to give it to them, but I might not do it.
You can always just show them and say extra points, extra marks.
We can say if they want to do the core work more than you can follow the program. But I wasn't going to put it into the video log just because I feel like people are probably pretty tired by the end of the night round.
For those who have done the work, they don't feel too tired, worked out, we can get some extra homework right at the end. All right. All right, back into the elevation, lock down, and let's start in 3, 2, 1. I just love my consistency with 3, 2, 1 because sometimes it's within a second, sometimes it's the whole second per one. Maisie just abusing. 3, 2, 1. You thought it was a what?
I thought it was a mop because it was grey.
No.
That's really gross.
All right.
Until I realized it was a foot, which is even grosser.
Back into our cat stretch. Ten more seconds. Doing little pulses in 3, 2, 1.
Home stretch. Not long now. Curl out.
No, that's cell underscore OW. Overwatch. Because
So we did the last round together.
all right, into our elevation lockout. Right, 3, 2, 1. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Into a cat stretch, starting now. Almost there. 3, 2, 1.
And we'll probably canvas that at the moment.
Yep.
Cool.
Mic over to you.
Cool. So during this rest period, I'm going to explain what your homework is because we need to cut the stream off, but you're more than welcome to complete the final 9th round. As Gary was saying, if you still have a bit of energy, you're more than welcome to start moving into your freestanding. If your shoulders are very tired, allow them to rest. You've done a lot of good work, especially if you complete the 9th round. But the homework is 100 hollow body rocks. So I'll quickly demonstrate those before the stream ends. So you may break up the 100 hollow body reps into sets of 10, into sets of 20, into sets of 30, whatever you like. Just make sure that you're maintaining a active core, driving your heels together and pushing your shoulders up above your ears. And that's the class today. Thank you for joining us and have a nice day.
Scooch over. Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining in. We'll be back on next Tuesday for Maisie's class. See what color jumper she's going to wear, and who knows? Stay tuned for that.
There's plenty of color in my jumper.
Exactly. Different shades.
What's wrong with my colorful jumper, man? Not colorful enough?
Shades of grey.
Shades of cement, but
Grey is not a colour, it's a shade.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining in.
anything you say to me.
Hope you have a great day, and catch you next time.